I'm Catherine Best, one of the judges here at beautiful Port Arlington on the Bellarine Peninsula, here for Caravan of the Year 2024, sponsored by MSA 4x4. I'm sitting in the Majestic Trailblazer 19.6. Now this is a fully off-road caravan for couples who like to go bush in comfort. There's all the battery power and water you'll ever need, wrapped up in a really stylish interior. Come and have a look.
For our Majestic Trailblazer tow vehicle test, we used a Ford Ranger Wildtrak, a very capable vehicle. Some of the roads are quite undulating, but there was little sideways movement in the rear of the van and just a little bit of 4.5 pitching. Nothing really to worry about. That said, the Ford Ranger has a tear mass of nearly 2,800 kilos, which when you load it up, it has an ATM of 3.5 tonne. Is probably pushing the capabilities of the Ford Ranger just a bit. But this is my van, I'd certainly be thinking about a heavier duty tow vehicle like a Land Cruiser.
It's funny to say this, but one of the most innovative things about this Majestic is one of its longest standing hallmarks, the way the company builds its cabinetry. Now they've got an in-house laminator and CNC machines, so use every nook and cranny to put in storage, and it's all edged exceptionally well. The fit and finish is exemplary. Their work with Nick Pole is also a standout. Walk inside and wow, the interior is just gorgeous. The colors used are simple, but believe me when I say it is not easy to make a simple caravan look good, and that one really does.
I think it's only going to be in extremes of bad weather, maybe in a week or so, that you're really going to have to plug the Trailblazer into an outside power source, because it's got 3 170 watt solar panels up the top, a really good projector 400 amp lithium battery, and there's 3,000 watts of projector inverter. Plenty enough to run the air conditioner if you feel inclined. Lots of power for plenty of off-grid capacity. I like the fact that they use gas for the stove and the hot water service as an option. It certainly reduces the need for power if you're running short. And really, you know, a gas bottle will run up to 6 weeks if you're just running a stove. So I think that's a great idea. You're probably going to be limited a little bit by the cassette toilet. I think about a composting toilet, which will extend the changeovers from, say, a week, probably out to a month even. I think 200 litres of water is plenty enough for couples who've trained themselves to take short showers. I reckon you get a couple of weeks out of that off-grid, and certainly a lot longer if you're camped near somewhere where you can have a swim during the day. 100 litres of grey water, that's plenty enough for when you're in national parks or in those sort of council places where you need to be hooked up and be self-sufficient with your grey water tank.
There's no shying away from the fact that the Majestic Trailblazer is an expensive van, especially for its size, which is a touch under 20 foot. You won't get much change from $172,000, but what you will get is a top-of-the-range chassis and suspension. Now this is a van that you can safely take along the Gibb River Road or to Cape York without breaking a sweat.
Underpinning the Trailblazer is a truss chassis. Now truss chassis add a lot of strength and raise the body of the caravan quite substantially without too much of a weight penalty over a typical box section, typically around 100–150 kilos. The chassis is first Duragel coated and then covered with a hammer tone-like finish, which looks fantastic and should offer really good stone protection. The body of the Trailblazer is built the traditional way, with a stapled Meranti frame and aluminium composite panels. Now it has a one-piece roof, which should help reduce any dangers of rot. Throughout the build, I saw quality appliances, from its ATX airbag suspension with disc brake option, which should increase braking feel and give you more peace of mind, as well as lower maintenance costs.
In terms of livability in this van, it has a front bed, rear bathroom layout with the kitchen and dinette in between, and that certainly makes for a comfortable living space for a couple. So the layout is very traditional, but there's room to move. The windows on either side of the bed at the front are quite large. I quite like that arrangement because it means you get plenty of fresh air and plenty of light as well. A slightly better arrangement for some people is a double tier window which the Trailblazer had fitted. That is one window above the other. It's much harder for someone to climb in the window. And the second advantage is you can actually close the blind on the lower window and give you some privacy, but you can leave the blind open on the top window, give you plenty of ventilation.
Look, the X factor with the Trailblazer is the fact that it's such a capable off-roader. It's, really good equipment, great chassis, great suspension, beautifully finished outside, looks stunning. But when you go inside, it's just the wow factor is amazing. It's really beautifully finished, lovely colours, beautifully upholstered lounge, and I just really like the way that they presented that van. It's like they say, it's a tough looking thing outside, but it's really cool once you get in there. And I think that's a really big X factor thing with that van.
The Majestic's really designed for couples who want to get away from caravan parks and hit the dirt. And for that, it's got all the power, water and appliances you need to get the job done. It's a beautiful looking van, but more importantly, it's built really tough.